Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Hello, hello. We will start in just a few minutes. We will let people in. I hope you can hear me. If so, write me down in the chat just so I will know that you hear me loud and clear. Voice is loud and clear. Do you also hear the elevator music that I put in? Sorry about that. We will start in a minute. All right, 30 seconds and we will start. Whoever will join late could see us in the recording. All right. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm sure that you're joining me from different cities and different time zones. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are. I'm Chahar, I'm VP Product and Strategy here at EverAfter, and I'm excited to talk with you today about how you're able to create autonomous customers with AI. The subtitle for my session today was What Happens When Customers Don't Need You Anymore. I don't mean to make you feel uneasy in this conversation. Maybe parts you might feel a bit uneasy, but I think that today in this area, and I'm going to cover that, we should all feel a bit uneasy. So over the next 30 minutes, and then I will make sure to have some time for questions. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them in the chat or in the Q&A session. I will try to review them during the session, but if not, towards the end for sure. The last time that I had this presentation was in front of 200 people at Pulse. Here it's a bit difficult not to see you or hear you laugh or smile or cry. So you could make sure that the chat is engaging as possible. All right, so let's start with today's session. So as I mentioned, I'm Chahar, I'm VP Product and Strategy here at EverAfter. Before joining EverAfter, I have 10 years of experience in the customer success operations domain. I established the customer success operations at a company called Feedvisor, then revenue operations at a company called Verbit. And in the past 5 years almost, I'm building a product for my former self here at EverAfter. And in my personal life, and he's here right next to me, this is Maluma. This is my cat. Many of you already familiar with him, but he's asleep now, so I don't know if I if you will have interesting questions, maybe I will wake him up towards the end of the conversation. He's literally right here. For those of you who are not familiar with EverAfter, we help you to scale customer success one digital touch at a time. Using EverAfter, you are able to build designated, ultra-personalized interfaces for multiple customer programs. It's a white label solution that you could send, and you can see here that we have our amazing customers that really build amazing interfaces for there. Many of you are here, so thank you for joining me here today. So as I mentioned, in the last decade, I tried to solve and focus challenges around CS and CS ops. And I feel that every few years, the main question or the main challenge that customer success has to focus on has evolved. And I would like to share with you some of my findings here. If you go back 10 years ago, I think that the main challenge was to build the foundations and the need or to prove that customer success is not a glorified support. What is churn? How do you measure it? What is upsell and all of that? Those were the questions or the challenges that we had to focus on 10 years ago. And then a few years later, the challenge shift towards how do we alert CSMs on what they should be doing? This was the rise of playbooks, the rise of health score, how we could actually try to build those processes to tell the CSM, which is now an established profession, how they should, what they should know about their customers. And then in 2022, all of us faced the question, how can our team own more accounts, do more with less? How can they basically expand their book of business without expanding the headcounts? So this was like a burning question. I think that up until today, this is a question that we all face. But I do believe that in 2025, the question that we need to ask ourselves is very much different. In 2025, with all of the technology and customers' expectations, and I'm going to tackle that in a few minutes, I believe that the main question that we should all be asking ourselves, and I do apologize if it will make us feel a bit uneasy, is how do we become less needed? And in order to convince you that this is the question that I believe that we should be focusing on, I'm going to share a story of how me being a bad uncle made me see something clearly. So a few months ago, I have one sister. She has 3 boys. So she called me and she told me that I'm the worst uncle for my nephews. I mean, I don't disagree, but it turns out that I travel a lot, and it turns out that someday I promised them that I will do like a movie day with them. I don't remember that I promised, but she called me and she told me that they're asking when we will do this movie. So I decided to be a good uncle, and we watched all together Inside Out 2. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Inside Out. This is an amazing movie about what happens in our brain and mind and emotions. And for some reason, I'm not going to do any spoilers about this movie, but it's a really nice movie. I saw a connection between what they visualize in Inside Out and customer success. And let me share what I mean by that. For that, I would like to introduce you to Emma. Emma is a marketing operations manager at a 500 people company, let's say. And she is a top performer in her time in the company. And now her manager introduced her to a new technology. Let's say that this is a made-up company called Funnel Pro. This is a platform for marketing teams that's supposed to solve many of their challenges. And Emma knows and she realizes that the platform Funnel Pro has a lot to offer. They have, for example, let's say 8 different modules, which makes it a bit difficult to start. So she's kind of confused in how to start with the implementation of a Funnel Pro. But no worries, she received an email with all of the different resources that she should read, do, practice. I mean, I'm sure that we're all familiar with a long email with a lot of resources that's supposed to guide us through a complex implementation. And I don't know if you ever got such email, but the struggle here is real. How do we even start when we are so overwhelmed and we have so many resources, so many guides, so many tutorials, so many academy courses that we need to take? So Emma wants to speak with someone. However, the CSM's Calendly is open only in 5 days. So she feels a bit lost and a bit confused. And if you're curious to hear how Emma figured it out, so we're going to fix her story later in this presentation. And a lot of studies and reports show that customer success is the most growing profession in the last decade in tech. And we all here enjoy from that. But I do want to zoom in and try to understand why the demand of customer success is so high. So let me try to explain how I believe and what is the reason that I believe that our customers need us and your customers need you. So the number one reason starts with your product. Your product, our product, products in general became more complex. It is no longer a point solution. It's one size, but not necessarily fit all. We have many features, many personas. You need to support different workflows and goals and integrations for your customers. You offer a lot of flexibility, which creates additional configurations that your customers should navigate between. And we need to serve multiple personas, multiple industries, and while platforms become much more powerful, it also complicated things a bit for the customer. On the other side, customers themselves became more complicated on their end because they have multiple stakeholders with different goals, with different say. They have their own legacy systems that now they need to integrate with new technology. They might have outdated workflows that they need to implement and to work with. They have regulations, they have adoption challenges, change management, different departments. So it's not only that products became complex platform, customers as organizations that purchase platforms became more complicated. And when we combine the complexity of the platform and the complexity of the customer, what it means is that customers just cannot succeed like that. In order for them to succeed, they need, or we need to create for them a personalization layer that will take all of the variables and really help the customer to create a relevant and personalized path for them for success. And success is different for each customer. So personalization is not like a premium feature that you offer to customers or a premium service that you offer for customers. In order for them to truly succeed, this is a must-have. And the personalization layer takes into consideration factors such as which products the customer purchased, which roles do we work with, even their language, their location, the industry, the type of regulation that they have, the technical stack, and a lot of different factors need to take into consideration. So during time, Customer Success Manager comes in, and Customer Success Manager, and in my opinion, this is the ultimate personalization layer for customers, right? Because if we zoom into what happens inside a top Customer Success Manager's head, they have a lot of input to work with. They have signals about their customers. They know the customers. They know the product. They know how to work with the stakeholders. They have expertise about the industry, about the segment, about the product. They understand from all of their notes and history. And basically imagine that inside the Customer Success Manager's mind, they have like an algorithm about each customer that they operate, and they do all of those stuff. They weight in urgency, impact. They filter the noise from the signals. They do cross-analysis signals, and a truly top CSM will know to provide an output, which would be what is the most valuable action that my customers need to take. From all of the different activities, academic courses, help center articles, training sessions, success plans, they really succeed when they will know how to filter to each customer what they really, really need in order to succeed. So the customer success manager will provide the relevant and personalized guidance and recommendations. And then came the word that everyone is afraid of. And of course, I talk about scale. And in the old world, scale equals efficiency. When we wanted to scale, so basically it means for us that in order to scale, we need to be more efficient, we need to manage more customers. So if we go and take a look at an efficient organization, then for example, under the same number of customers, 15,000, an efficient team will have, I don't know, 30% more than that. And in the old world, I think that everyone in your CFO would definitely sign on this improvement. But in the new world, scale doesn't necessarily equals efficiency. So we need to talk about what is scale in today's world. And I believe that in today's world, in the new world, scale basically means that we need to take the characteristic of the top CSM and apply it to our entire customer base. So now I think that for the first time in history, powered by AI, we suddenly have a real choice because we could leverage technology to do stuff that until this point we didn't have the privilege to offer it to many of our customers. And of course, customer success managers are critical in a lot of different accounts, in strategic conversations, in strategic implementations. But the reality is that many of your customer base, they don't have a dedicated CSM, and then we need to leverage technology in order to replace them. So for the first time in history, we could actually leverage technology to curate this next best action for customers and make them autonomous. So the shift that I believe that we should do, and in a moment I'm going to talk about 5, I think, methods on how to do that, and then I will share like another asset that you could use. But the shift that we need to do would be to move from efficiency of our team to autonomy of our customers. And therefore, the shift should be of our CS strategy should be not to be more efficient, but to be less needed. Therefore, the concept that I would like to introduce you to you today would be the autonomous customer org. And this concept basically creates a system where customers could progress in an autonomous way and achieve success without relying on humans to support that. So the autonomous customer org, before I give you some actual demonstrations of how you could achieve that, it's a system that is designed to push customers towards progress. In many cases, customers would retain and would stay when they feel progress. So we would like to push them towards never-ending progress. Obviously, it needs to take into consideration their customer input, their signals, their goals. But this system of the autonomous customer org would provide an adaptive path to each customer. It will focus the customer on the actions with the highest impact for them. We don't want to overwhelm customers with a lot of potential activities. We want to focus them on the things that would actually move the needle. This autonomous customer org system will know how to speak to customers in their own language, type of learning, type of doing. And it would focus on getting things done. On the other hand, we know that this system should escalate to customer success teams when needed. And maybe just for a very quick comparison between an efficiency-led org and autonomous-led org, I do want to mention several criteria on how you could know if your organization is leaning towards efficiency or leaning towards autonomous of your customers. So the main goal of an efficiency-led org would be to enable CSMs to own more accounts, but in an autonomous-led org, the main goal would be to help customers progress without a CSM. The primary goal, the primary metric, for example, of the efficiency-led would be the CSM productivity, but on the autonomous-led, it would be the customer progress. The role of AI here is important. We all leverage AI, and we are inspired and pushed to leverage AI. But how we leverage AI in those type of orgs might look a bit differently. For example, in an efficiency-led org, the role of AI could help us with email drafting and summarize activity and things that we need in order to save our time before we approach customers. However, in an autonomous-led org, the role of AI is kind of different, and it would be to curate recommendations to customers directly and create this layer of a coach to them. Success plans is a program that a lot of companies are interested in. So on an efficiency-led org, the only high-touch customers would benefit from a success plan. It would most likely be slides or mutual spreadsheet by CSM. However, in an autonomous-led org, we have the privilege to have a success plan for our entire customer base. It could be owned by the customer, and it would curate for them based on their actual goals and product usage. And I'm going to show you an example of how you could build an autonomous success plan in few slides. The value delivery of an efficiency-led to the customer would be through people, but for the autonomous, it would be through systems. And the scalability of an efficiency-led org would be linear because eventually more customers equals more headcount. But in an autonomous-led org, it's going to be exponential because the more customers we have, the smarter systems that we are able to build for the rest of our customer base. I will say that 67% of your customers prefer to have self-service path. 73% of them expect to have a digital first guidance. Those are numbers, I think, by studies by Salesforce and by other research. So we do have a true potential here. And if you go back to this slide of an efficient versus non-efficient organization, in an autonomous-led organization, we could actually drive much less. We could drive a lot of great outcomes with much smaller teams. So let's talk about what is the engine that we need to develop in order to build this autonomous journey. So we have 4 main steps. The first step would be to create a data layer that would know a lot of inputs about your customers: signals, product usage, goals, lifecycle stage, sentiment, persona, and a lot of different things, past experience that they had, what worked for other customers. Basically, is to build a data layer that holds information that we could then run and calculate on our decision layer, which would be the next best action. And the purpose of this step, and this is an iterative process, is to create this personalization layer to life and narrow it down to a single step that customers need to do now. This is a model, the next best action. We borrowed this model from marketing, actually. This was proven as a critical method to create better engagement, to create better, higher conversion with customers and prospects. And this works also when we would like to inspire customers to take actions on their end. So we have a data layer, we have a decision layer. Now we have a delivery layer. And the delivery would be how the output basically would be how we tell the customers what to do, why they should do that, how they should do that. And we need to surface it on a designated interface so they could understand what is expected of them in a self-service manner. Also, in this step, we act as the coacher of a customer. We push them until they actually deliver and perform this next best action. And then we have a feedback loop because we try to understand, did the customer actually perform what we wanted them? Are they still stuck in this stage? And basically we have like a feedback loop, and then we try to calculate another next best action for them. Before I go to the actual examples that I prepared for you, any questions so far? All right. So let me show you some examples on how we could actually build on how to get started with an autonomous customer org. So I think that I have here 5 different methods, and then I have like a list of additional 15 that you could use. So the first one would be, in order to create or to start with an autonomous customer org, you should think about to productize your customer programs. When you productize customer programs, and here's a list of potential programs that you might like to productize. You equip your customers with an ultra personalized and actionable and relevant path for a specific purpose. And then you could make sure and you could ensure consistency across your customer base and allowing them to progress in their own pace. The second thing would be to build your NBA, which is next best action mechanism. And I believe that every organization should do this exercise, and you could do it either manually or we have other ways to do so. But basically, a manual NBA mechanism would be to try to create a library of potential NBAs with clear instructions. So you will have the ability to push to a specific customer a specific next best action when you or the customer success manager identify that this is relevant for them. While having a manual NBA library is an option, I'm not sure that's the best option. Another option would be to create kind of like a rule base or like a formula of if-then structures. So for example, define a logic based on multiple variables. For example, if the customer didn't connect a specific integration, then this should be automatically, this should be the next best action for them. If less than 20% of their customer base did something, then this should be the next best action. And then while it's a rule-based mechanism, you still have the formula on how to match a specific next best action to each customer. However, in 2025, we are able to leverage AI agents for that. And basically, you could create an AI agent purpose for curating and building a next best action for each customer. So just as an example, so we use EverAfter, of course, to build our NBA agent. And we are able to calculate for each customer based on specific factors that we know that are relevant. At every given time, what is the most relevant next best action that they should take? So it reads information from their onboarding plan or from their success plan, from their product usage, what they did and what they didn't do, and it curates next best action for each customer. Not only it curates the next best action, we could also gamify the experience and have and let the AI create like engaging images or things that would actually inspire customers to take this action. And all of this, of course, happens automatically because we built a robust mechanism that calculates it for each customer. Another option would be to build an autonomous success plan system. And here I will share an example of Okta, one of our dear customers, that they have a department dedicated to deliver value to customers by leveraging technology. Fortunately, they chose EverAfter as their interface platform, and they actually built a fully autonomous success plan for their non-managed customers. And this is how it goes. The first step would be to collect customer goals. So the first thing that customers see would be, hey, dear customers, what are your desired business outcomes that you would like to achieve with Okta? And then they have 9 choices to choose from. They could choose as many as they like. Once customers submit their goals, the system compares their actual product data to calculate the maturity of the customer. So they have like a maturity stage for each customer that it reads through actual product data to calculate and to show it to the customer. The third step would be, based on the customer input and based on what the customer actually did or didn't do in their Okta workspace, the system curates a personalized plan with prioritized tasks that customers should take in order to improve their score and in order to achieve their desired outcome. So out of 20 potential recommendations, only the ones that are actually relevant for the customers and that they didn't implement it yet would surface here. And in the motion of next best action, once customer achieves a big part of those recommendations, advanced steps are being revealed automatically. Another option that I'm going to show live example. Oops, I have here an issue with the animation. Would actually be to quiz and certify customers using AI. And this step, we could have 4 different steps. The first step would be to give customers snippet of knowledge that they should learn and leverage. And it could be about a new module, it could be about a new add-on that you have, and it could be about anything that customers could benefit from learning. After that, you could quiz them and give them a short quiz to ask them and try to understand if they learned the things that they should have learned. The third step would be to create an agent that basically checks the quiz, decides if this customer is certified, and provide next steps or additional things that the customer should focus on based on their goals and based on their actual knowledge that they just demonstrated. And after that, you could also automatically certify the customers on the things that they need. And let me show you a real example of that. Yeah. Okay. So let's say that I have here like a short academy course. So me as a learner, I'm going to perform this quiz. Let's see. Let's see here. I need to log in, sorry. Okay. So let's say that I have 5 different knowledge snippets that I need to take. After I learn them, then we will show the customer a specific quiz that they need to take. Once the customer takes the quiz, we will, let's see, let's get the quiz. Okay, so now I have a quiz. I have a short quiz about EverAfter. And once I complete the quiz, the AI would actually check what I did and provide me some good answers. So let's say that I'm going to analyze this quiz. And I expect to get some answers about what I did. And if I did it right, then it will give me the score. It will tell me where I got it right, the areas that I need to focus on. And because I passed the score, I also got an automated certification from the system. So again, this is just like something small that we could build in order to make the customers autonomous. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the questions that I see here in terms of the data layer. That's a good question. So in a moment, I will refer to that as well. I do want to maybe show one other example. So another example would be on how we could actually create autonomous G2 reviews. Every organization has the need to generate successful G2 reviews, and it could be G2, it could be other platform. So a recent experiment that we actually did showed us that using AI to create personalized experience to our customers could result in really nice and successful reviews. So the campaign that we did, and this was our best campaign so far, was actually to generate a unique image for each customer and a song. So we run an AI agent to create an image inspired by Dude with a Sign and a song about the customer and about their usage with EverAfter. After that, we sent this over email automatically to our customers that reach a specific threshold. And to be honest, not long after that, we got some really nice recent G2 reviews. And again, this was, I mean, hopefully our customers enjoy their experience with EverAfter to begin with, but maybe it inspired them to give us nice reviews. And this is something that maybe you should take with your marketing team. So before I go and I share with you one last resource for that, I do want to go back and rewrite Emma's story now when we know how we could leverage her experience, elevate her experience, sorry. So again, let's meet Emma. We know that Emma is a marketing operations manager, but she got introduced to a new company called Funnel Pro. But inside her screen, there are friendly creatures. And I remind you, I thought about Inside Out when I had this vision. So she has friendly creatures that are in charge for Emma's success. And they analyze anything Emma needs, her goals, usage, relevance, signals, and they put it into a machine. They blend it all together, we could say. And they extract a single next best action for Emma that takes into consideration her goals, priorities, events, and more. And when the next best action is ready, they deliver it to her in a very engaging and inspiring way that will actually make her act. So those creatures are the ones that create the autonomous for Emma. And they will guide her until the action is done. And they never sleep. What's good about them is that they never sleep, so they are able to analyze what Emma should be doing next. And basically, every time they create a new next best action for Emma, and they deliver it to her in a very engaging way. So they work together to be super successful. And I think that's it. Before I answer your questions. Yeah, sorry. So before I answer your questions, I do want to recap a bit. I know that it might be a bit overwhelming, everything that we discussed today. I really believe that we should rethink what we think about scale and how we should really inspire our customers to take the right action. And the next generation of customer success would be us designing systems for our customers that make them autonomous and eventually makes us a bit less needed for a lot of the different activities. I created here a guide with I think 15 methods or other suggestions on how you could start your process of building autonomous customer org. So feel free to download that. And if you have any questions, so I'm going to review them now. So one of the questions would be, it feels to me that the biggest challenge here is what you call the data level, that companies should they have that in organized, analyzable fashion. So how do you overcome that? Do many get stuck in the data stage? So my question, my answer for you would be, the earlier you start, the better. We can't wait until we will have the perfect data layer, because even putting something in front of customers, and this gives us the ability to learn in the future. So even if we will have a pretty, just to ask our customers what are their goals, this is the first data layer that is very easy for us to get and would help us to curate recommendations for them. So even if the recommendations will not be tied to their actual usage, because maybe we don't track that, it would still give us a lot of opportunity to optimize and make them a bit more autonomous. So I really think that there is the best time to start is yesterday in this motion, and we need to, and you need to find like what would be those low-hanging fruit that would not require a lot of changes in terms of the data. But I think that today in the world of AI, the data doesn't have to be super structured. It could be unstructured, and we could definitely leverage AI to do a lot of the complicated work for us, right? So even if it would be to let the customer to write in an open-ended question their goals and all of the things of why they purchase your solution, you could run it with an AI to classify to one of 5 top goals that you have. And even if you don't know what could be those goals, you could run a deep research with GPT to scan your knowledge base and suggest what are the 5 different most relevant areas to focus on with customers. So you should just start with something, and I hope that here you will find some areas that are less dependent on a sophisticated data layer. Any other questions? All right. So to conclude, I hope that I didn't scare you. Sorry if I did. Us as customers to other vendors, we would benefit if the vendor would allow us to become a bit more autonomous. And in today's world, we really have the technology and we have the processes and the workflows to really elevate the experience of our customers. And if you have any questions or anything that you would like to discuss, I'm definitely open to those type of conversations. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can send me an email, and hopefully you could start your journey of customer autonomous today. So thank you all. I'm putting here my LinkedIn, but thank you. Have a good rest of your day.